I was raised right here in Moss Point, Pascagoula, Mississippi. Went to the skating ring all my life, and I can still roll with the best of them. Just now it's usually sideways instead of straightforward. But one night we were at the skating ring, and me and a couple other guys, 3 other guys, and we decided that these 4 broke white guys was going to go to Biloxi to see what was going on when we got done working at the skating ring in Pascagoula. So we get in this little 1942 Volkswagen. I don't know what it was. This thing was old as dirt. We get this Volkswagen Bug. You're familiar with this story. True story. Us 4 broke white guys get in this little Volkswagen Bug. We're going to Biloxi to see what's going on. We can't afford to participate, but we can watch like nobody's business. We drive to Biloxi, there wasn't nothing going on. One of these idiots said, there's always something going on in New Orleans. Now let me tell you how broke we were. Before we left Pascagoula, we stopped at a gas station, pulled our money, and got us a full quarter tank of gas. We would have got something to drink, but then we wouldn't have had the gas to get to Biloxi. While we're sitting at the gas station, let me back up and say this. Before we got in the car, the owner of the car was sitting there. He was kind of a goofy guy. And somebody asked him, I don't want to be inappropriate, but somebody asked the guy the question, have you ever had a lady's vagina up to here? He said, God, no, that's gross. Somebody said, well, then you're a butthole, baby. We're going to call you Doo-Doo. We nicknamed him Doo-Doo. He's still Doo-Doo. So we go, while we're sitting at the gas station, I'll tell you where it's at. If you go to Pascagoula, go all the way down Chico Road to Ingalls Avenue. There's a gas station there. It used to be a 7-Eleven. We're sitting at that 7-Eleven. I'm sitting right behind the driver's seat because I was small enough to fit back then. And he turned the car on, and we're sitting there for a minute, and there's this little orange light on the bottom of the speedometer that kept flashing. I said, hey, Doo-Doo, what's that? I don't know, that light always comes on sometimes. Well, in case you don't know, the little orange light at the bottom of the speedometer on a 1912 Volkswagen or whatever it was happens to be the oil light. So here we go, off to New Orleans. Ain't none of us ever seen a road map. We're from Pascagoula. We don't need those. We get down there, we get lost in the French Quarter. We finally make our way back out. We see a sign that says, this way to I-10. Doo-Doo driving, heads toward I-10. It's probably 3 o'clock in the morning. We're tired. The other 3 of us go to sleep. I woke up and I looked and there was a sign coming up that said Baton Rouge, 3 miles. Doo-Doo, you went the wrong way. Honest to God, I was 13 years old. I was the only person in the car without a driver's license. And I was the dumb son of a bitch they elected to drive back to Pascagoula. Now, I had no idea that I-10 went around and hit 12 and you could come back. So I turned that son of a bitch around. We go back through New Orleans to come back. We make it to about Slidell. No gas.
Ain't got no gas in it.
It didn't matter because he had an equalizer. I pulled that joker out, wires and all. I sold that equalizer for $4 at a gas station to get gas to get back to Pascagoula. We didn't make it because the oil light was now constant. We made it back to Biloxi where we were supposed to be going to begin with.
Tom Jones.
At this point, we're riding down the road on the interstate, doing about 22 miles an hour. We had the doors open because there was so much smoke inside the car, we had to get it out somehow. I ain't lying. We get back to, well, we didn't get back to Pascagoula all at the same time and in the same car. us made it back to Pascagoula in a decent hour, we left Doo-Doo with his car. I had a blind date that day that a friend of mine had set up, and we we went on this blind date. I'm telling my buddy about the story. He's calling me a liar, BS this and BS that. As we're coming down Telephone Road in Pascagoula, here comes a tow truck with a little beetle on the back of it. Oh my God, you were telling the truth, every word of it. Can't make that stuff up. Well, I hadn't seen Doo-Doo since then. But every time I refer to him, it's affectionately as Doo-Doo.